Okay, well, there's nobody better to go after that because she has been a model of consistency in her business and it has paid off because she is in that PB and POB and bib arena. And I just love that she shared with our leaders some of the secrets to her success and tenacity. And she's going to do that with us today. And Nanette, I kind of switched your order with Joel because he's on his way now to the airport to get our son who's been delayed all day. Poor guy. But this is Nanette Hill. Nanette lives in Georgia. Oh my goodness. Are you excited about the Atlanta conference being right in your backyard? It's the
Yes,
best.
I am. Not
Well,
just in my backyard, but literally 5 minutes from my house. So,
awesome. Okay, take it away. We cannot wait to hear from you.
okay. So I have to say that listening to Sherry Ann, she is like a woman after my own heart. I live for everything that she was talking about, and it has so much to do with where I'm going with this. All right, so I'm gonna give a little bit of background about me. I heard about Juice Plus from my mom. Most of you know her, Dr. Nalani Valentine, mainly for my daughter at first, but I had neurological muscular issues. I had lost the use of many of my fingers, started taking Juice Plus. Several months later, saw a difference. Started telling people about it. Mom was like, you may as well become a partner. It's like, okay, cool. So I had really not that much interest in being a partner, but I did go to conferences. I started going to every conference. And let me just tell you that I made sales coordinator the slow way over years, telling a person here, telling a person there, not really looking at it as a business at all. But I did make sales coordinator. And then about 5 years ago, when Sharon Farrar was going for a 50 club, and that's 50 people, that performance bonus on her team, I wanted to be a part of that. So I learned from Julie what it meant to be performance bonus qualified and customer qualified. So that was a big part of my journey because then it got me to that area that Sherry Ann was just talking about, where I had consistently $500 coming in every month. And that was like for a few years. Still not really trying to build it as a business. I had some team that came and went, but I had an amazing customer base. So all of that helped me. And let me just say that performance bonus thing, I was performance bonus qualified for about 2 to 3 years and getting paid absolutely nothing on it because I had no team. So that's a big part of it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what made the difference for me. And it really kind of started a couple of years ago during COVID. And well, actually before that, because I talked to Sharon and she kind of wanted to know what I was feeling and everything. And we came to the conclusion that I had great belief in the product because of what it did. I had no problems talking about that, but not as much belief in the business. So I started going through the bullet points of what the business had to offer and really looking at it from that perspective and kind of fell in love. And the biggest thing that caught my eye was the benefits package. I come from the corporate world, no longer in the corporate world, but I worked at an investment firm. We had a benefits package, and what Juice Plus was offering was way better than the benefits package that I had. And so for those of you that don't know that, that might be brand new, just know that at the NMD level, and actually starts at the QNMD level, some of the benefits, but that medical, dental, vision, life insurance, long-term disability, chiropractic care, family tuition reimbursement, and monthly expense allowance is like everything. And that is one of my ultimate goals, to be able to get that. So that started making me have a belief in the business. The other thing is I had an opportunity on the way home from a conference to sit next to Karen Jones on the airplane. It was just me and her in the row. And I introduced, and so Karen Jones is one of the, I don't know if she's considered an executive, but she's one of the people in the corporate office, and she's in charge of the Brave Leaders program and what goes on with us as partners. And she said, well, you have me here. Do you have any questions? And I told her, you know, I'm working for a corporate job and I just and making $1,000 or $500 a month is, I want to leave my job, but I need, $6,000, $7,000 a month. And so she made it clear to me. She said, well, I'll tell you something. Do you understand what performance bonus is? And I said, absolutely, I'm qualified. She was like, well, you get 39 to 50 other people on your team doing as you did, and you will be making that 7,000 plus per month. And so Sherry Ann went through all of that, what that is. And so that kind of gave me a bigger vision, bigger picture of it. So then I started getting a belief in the compensation plan after that conversation, and my own belief in the ability to cast vision about what that is. Fast forward, so that was happening kind of before the last couple of years. So as a sales coordinator, I kind of stayed as sales coordinator for a while. I had a lot of things kind of happen in life, as they were all saying, major things that were kind of devastating to me, and I had to deal with that. 2020, 2019, I stopped working for my corporate job. I became a Pilates instructor, started doing that. Well, COVID happened and the state of Georgia shut down every workout place, any place you can go. And then the state of Georgia also somehow screwed up my unemployment, so I got zero. And so Juice Plus was the only income that I had coming in. And I needed something that would make me feel like I wanted to make this push. I had more of a belief in the business now. And so one of the things that really helped me is what I would say called DMO with partners. Some of you know who Beverly Grandison is. She started something called a madness game, where we would, bunch of us sideline buddies kind of joined in the game, and it was based on DMO. It was based on activity. You got points not for how many customers you got or new team members or how many points you got for the month. You got points for activity, how many three-way calls you made, how many events you had during the week, how many people you actually called, how many follow-ups, and all of that. And you had to have 2 of each of those things most of the time to get a point. So that took me from just being a sales coordinator to actually having a new team, because I was talking to people a lot more often. So starting to have the budding of more people on my team, going wide, as Sherry Ann talked about, and going deeper too. And so we played that madness games a couple of times. But the other thing that was like so important for me was Doug and Sharon started doing the lunch and learns. So here we are, no place to go, but doing things together. So that DMO, if you can, Jay Martin always says it, find a buddy, but even get to people with people on your team or sideline buddies. We did something called blitzing together, where we would be on Zoom just like this, mute out for 20 minutes, have our list and have our people we want to talk to. And you would be surprised how many people you can contact in 20 minutes. That timer would go off and you'd be like, man, that went by quickly. But also, like we've heard more than one person say today, the results didn't necessarily come right then. But I'll tell you, the first time that I did that, within 2 months, my income doubled, literally. Went from like average of 400 to about 800. And then I kept doing the same thing. We had the lunch and learns, we had the game going. So I felt good having people to be accountable to. And also it helps because when you on these lunch and learns and when you're hearing other people on the team stories, and this is why events about the business are good and trainings are good, you find out that you're not the only one going through stuff. You're not the only one getting rejected. Sharon will even let us see her conversations she's having with folks who are ghosting her or whatever it is. And then you just feel like, okay, like Sherry Ann said, this is for the long haul. I'm doing the work. I just have to consistently keep doing it. So what happened during that time is that the team that I was building, I got them involved to do the same thing. And the ones who were coming to the lunch and learns and playing the game, they began to really percolate. And so I started seeing, it might have been 6 or 7 months later, but that started, the results were coming up from the consistency. And so I promoted 3 people to QSC. and had enough to last year make it to QSSC. I also want to say something about that performance bonus and being customer qualified, having your own 24 Trio customers. It wasn't until December of 2021 that just passed that I learned about the whole, about why that's so important. I had promoted 3 people and didn't notice my performance bonus change at all, because I had all of those points coming from my own. So that was something that was really important. And what else? Okay, I just wanted to say, part of being consistent, and I would say a tip for achieving those 5 to 12 interactions or exposures that Sharon talked about in that little chart she gave, is after you first talk to somebody, you first show them the information. After that, you get their permission to include them whenever there's a cool event happening, just letting them know, do you mind if I reach out to you whenever something's happening? I usually let them know it's once a week or twice a month better for you. And then your list just keeps going. It just helps that. This is the actual work. This is the keeping people involved and getting them to the point where they have all of those exposures. Other than that, I would say, those are the things that really helped me. Learning the compensation plan, being really excited about that, also helped me to show my team. So the ones who are working, they will call me several times a week and be like, okay, so I'm running my reports and this is what I'm looking at and this is where I am. So where am I? Where do I need to be? How much more? And just double checking things. And so we're working together like that. And because they know that you're in it too. Other than that, I would say to, as we heard, keep the reason why you joined Juice Plus in the front of your mind. Have something that reminds you of why you're doing this. I feel like people who do network marketing are special because most of the time there is really something deep inside of us that wants things to be different. You don't want the okie doke. You have a dream or a vision for how you would like to lead your life, and so you're willing to look at something that on first hand seems absolutely crazy, like how is this really going to work? But it does. And so just remembering that thing inside of you that makes you feel like you have to. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. It's that thing. It's that thing inside that just makes you know you've got to do it. Because I'll tell you, for myself, everything that I've dreamt about since I was a little girl, of all the things that I've wanted to do, all of them involve spending money. Not a single one of them involves making it. So I knew I needed to do something that would give me that residual income. And so I am definitely looking at it from the long term. Year and a half from now, I totally intend to start my traveling. I'm like Ivy, and I messaged her personally to let her know I am with her trying to make that QNMD by conference so we can do Q School together. And one other thing that was big for me is I made a decision for myself to have joy in my life. That no matter what was going on, and I have several things that I do that make me feel good inside. And I think that's important. I think you have to find that for yourself. I'm not a religious person. So I know for a lot of people, it's their religion. For me, I had to find things that gave me joy. And so that when life does happen, and it does, and it consistently does, that even if it's 10 minutes of whatever it is that I know that I like to do or have, that helps me and keeps me in a positive frame of mind and keeps me mentally healthy. So that's all I have for you guys.
Nanette, I just love you. I just love listening to you, sharing. You're such a good teacher. And Nanette went from QSSC to senior sales coordinator very quickly. She jumped from the first green leadership position in the green part of the staircase to the next one. And and you can see why. So, okay. Carmen Maxwell. Okay. Why do you take your husband to the conference? Because it could turn into Carmen Maxwell. Okay, and that's what happened. Joel came to the Juice Plus conference when I became a national marketing director, only because I was going up on stage and he could come too. So he came and came up on stage with me. We took the kids. It was such an awesome experience. But my husband saw the company that weekend and got vision for this business and came home. And long story short, his office manager purchased Juice Plus for her daughter, for her grandson, because